All right, here we go. Steery. All right. Mighty Iron Long Andy never Welches on a bed. Let's begin. Andy B smokes. He smoked the entire Northwest. One night at the bar, Andy B suddenly says, I quit. And here's the story within the story. Hold off on the tail of me piss. And the story within the story goes a little something like this. It was back in the day at W.L. May, a lying piece of shit company, by the way, or something like that. We can later gather dates and the times and the facts. But this is how I remember it. Don't fuck with my memories. And the memories are a bit like this. So we're at work. Where the hell is Andy B? He didn't call in sick. He should be at work. And later we learn this. Andy B was getting ready for the day, hot shower first, and he takes a deep breath and lights out for the jerk. 20 minutes later, he awakes on the floor. The floor is the tub of the shower from before. The water's cold now and a pain in his chest. Andy decides the idea of work isn't the best. But Andy, this guy, I'm not kidding, don't you doubt him. He walked to the top of the hospital mountain. And you all know this mountain, southwest if you look. West hills upon spills beneath the Tower of Crooks. And not just the crooks of the Crooked Road Mountain, the crooks in the business world of cash money counting. So Andy B is walking. He always walked awesome. He's winding up roads and walking more awesome. And he gets to the top, almost done with his walk. Hardly in a hurry, but it's kind of hard for him to breathe. And now he's arrived at his destination on the top of the mountain, where sadly 12 years later he died. But the stories must continue. Big butt, little butt, no butt in fact, walked his flat, buttless awesome still fully intact. One more time. Big butt, little butt, no butt in fact, walked his flat, buttless awesome still fully intact. But big buttless awesome Andy, one more time if you doubt him, walked his flat, buttless awesome to the top of the mountain. And what the fuck might have happened, you've been saying? Why did Andy collapse while the water kept spraying? Well, tune in tomorrow night for the thrilling conclusion of our hero's walking awesome adventure to the top of... I'm just playing. Andy B's fucking lung collapsed. He had a broken or fractured rib from an accident earlier in his life, and when the steam was doing its work, and he took a deep breath and his lungs filled with air, one long punch against his sharp fractured fragment of a rib or whatever, and like a balloon against a knife, lights out, good night. So, he's in the exam room. Doc's like, yep, just as I suspected, his lung had collapsed. And all the doctors gather around like, yes, sir, yeah, oh, yeah, you got it, you've nailed it again. Now, just for a moment, let's all pretend that Doc is Hugh Laurie. House does it again. Ha, ha, ha. Now the balloon drops, and they've popped our pretend. And back to reality, at least the reality I create, I like to pretend. This is my true story, don't interrupt me again. So the nurse comes into the room, whatever room he was in at the top of that hospital mountain. And nurse says, holy shit, this guy has a collapsed lung. I saw him walking up to the emergency room smoking a cigarette. And we all know Andy B smoked 18 cigarettes on his walk up, and puffing on 19 when he got there, sits down on the bench to finish off his pack. And so the diagnosis is Andy B's lung had collapsed. Now let's get back to where we began. This was a little backstory from the story within. Remember, Andy B smokes. And suddenly he says nope. At the bar one night, gave his pack away, and he says they're out of his life. I laughed and said, no way, you smoke 2 packs a day. 4 cigarettes on a 15-minute break, one smoke lights the other, a mouthful of Twix candy bar on top of all this. So we make a bet. The bet goes like this. I say, no way, you will be back. Once a smoker, always a smoker, and that's almost a fact. If you smoke again, and when, I will decide your fate. I get to pee on your foot. What a life for me I create, it's great. Fucked up, I know, I'm fucked up for show. And we shook on it, so it was done. Andy B loves a good handshake, and because of that fact, I've had just about enough of that. Handshakes, that is. Anyway, haha. And so, night goes on, 'cause nights are long when Andy B and I had taken the moon out the sky because we didn't want to say goodbye because fuck goodbyes. We are drinking forever, mountains, rivers, and oceans together, back then no more, and whatever. And so, Andy B was putting up a good fight, smoke-free. Few hours go by, and what do I see? Andy fucking Butler sucking on the big C. He's smoking all right, and I called his ass out. Maybe possibly a little too loud, and the lovely lady's name, who escapes me now, our friend Mickey with her friend back then, still now, and so sad to say, but Mickey, our good friend, She also passed away. But anyway, this friend of Mickey's, for emphasis I shouted at her and called his ass out. He can't smoke. He just had his lung collapse. And smack. She smacked Andy's cigarette right the fuck out. Right the fuck out Andy B's mouth. Chris Smokey Tucker guest voice and appearance. And by smack I mean whack. And it silenced the place. And Andy B's smoke fell the fuck out his face. And no joke. But he probably gasped and he certainly choked as he reached with his tongue as it fell to the ground while his silent bell rang. Frickin' echo sounds. And the whole patio of friends that perfect night, we laughed. Laughed together, we laughed. That laugh lives forever because that whack was a smack heard around the world. It still echoes in my mind today. And if I close my eyes, I can watch the slow motion replay. Anyway, a bet's a bet. But I do believe it was a later night, upon Andy's request to not face 2 humiliations in one night, and of course I agreed. So the next time we were drinking, or whenever I was drunk enough to decide it was time for Andy B to pay his debt, it happened. And the back patio was pretty damn full that night, my friends, and I told Andy B it was indeed time. I asked how he would like to do it. Shoes on or off? He requested on. So I approached slowly, closely, not to expose myself indecently to the back patio of people at the bar that night. And my urinary stage fright didn't show its face. Not that night it didn't. Turn your head, I said. And with a very minuscule tinkle sprinkle from my Robert Van Winkle, the deed was done. The debt had been paid, and he was always a good sport about it. But for some reason, he kept those shoes forever. But he never wore them, just reminded me once in a while that I ruined his shoes. But really, it was just a sprinkle. And I would remind him of his fine sportsmanship. And now I remind you, my friends, that Andy B never welches on a bet. Thank you.